Okay, thank you very much. I am the last speaker of this session, and my name is Ognen Marina. I'm a professor at the Faculty of Architecture in Skopje, Macedonia, and I will be talking, and I will do that very briefly, about an ongoing project that also involves partners from Spain, but also from Serbia. It is a well-known prediction made by United Nations that it is expected, almost treated as a fact nowadays, that more than 80% of the world population is expected to live in the urban areas. And even today, more than around 60% of the population in Macedonia is living in the urban areas. But cities, in the words of the Italo Calvino in his book Invisible Cities, are like dreams are made of desires and fears. And actually, when Logier made his proposal to build our cities more in accordance with the nature, he actually painted a very sharp a picture of very sharp distinction between the rational order of the nature and the irrational creation of the mankind. But in our cities, the rational and irrational are not mutually exclusive, as it is depicted in this colossal bricolage by Piranesi. And especially in the something more than last 100 years, it was the faith in technology and technological progress as a main background for our capacity for building better cities and even better societies. But this time it was not just the built environment, the built form, but it was also the public space that was put in stake. And actually, through the public space, the society was emerging. And the role of the public in mediating the order in the city has become even more important. And as we know, in the scope of the 20th century, we had different kind of a societal control of the public space, exercising and managing to create the society of spectacles and sometimes society as a total installation. But as the reason behind the importance of the public space, especially within the scope of the public of the citizens' participation and the interaction of the citizens into creation of the urban environment, has all, of course, been highly established with the work of several French philosophers, just to mention Lefebvre, and the importance of the spatial practice, that in his seminal work, The Creation of Space, that the space does not exist per se, but it is more this exercise of the social practice, as another French philosopher is mentioning, into the space of the city that is creating this particular configuration of the relations. But as we learned in the last few years, that the crisis and the financial crisis could become the crisis in the society, and even more, it could become the crisis of the society, actually delegitimizing some of the main elements of the system and actually questioning some of the main processes that were used and the delegation system and so on into the creation of our cities, and especially when it comes to the question of public space, because this landscape of urban collectivity are still the places of conflict where people are exercising their right for interaction and for the contribution to the shaping of their societies. So there is obviously a huge urge to think about and to practice new inclusive and sustainable collectivity, actually through exploring the new possibilities for using public space. And we can even say that we are in the process in a quest for the new urban paradigm that will enable us to use the existing space in our cities in a completely new way. So this is a project that is entitled Urban Cooks, City Made by Citizens, or the official name is Urban Cook Platform, Bottom-up Urban Planning, which is a project that is funded by the Executive Agency of European Union under the Cooperation Measures Program. And the objective of this project is to understand the framework around the citizens' initiatives in Madrid, Belgrade, and Skopje, and to learn how does existing programs in other cities' works, taking a critical look at them, and to define a program having in mind the very specific framework in each of the cities. So the cities are Madrid, Skopje, and Belgrade. And final goal of the project is to design a protocol, or rather a methodology or a platform for supporting citizens' initiatives, and not only in Madrid, Belgrade, and Skopje, but rather to serve as a knowledge base for any other city or citizens coming from different environments. So when we started to work in Skopje, we heavily rely on a survey that has been made by the Reactor, Research in Action, which is a civic organization working in Skopje. You can see the website here, that actually created a survey about the civic engagement. So the main hypothesis of this was that the people that are more involved into the participation and the creation of the policies within their community, they develop a bigger sense of belonging to their community. So to belong means to be content, and to be content means to belong. So some data about this research. There is civic engagement has been very highly recognized and appreciated in Macedonia from the citizens in Macedonia, and especially in Skopje. So there are 57% that believe that it's their personal responsibility to act toward the improvement of their community. And 3 out of 4 think it's important to be able to influence decision-making in their local community. And more than every other would like to be more involved in this decision. So we have virtually a very good situation. But the reality is that, and the frustration that is emerging is that more than 70% have this feeling that they cannot have influence, whether it's that they cannot any kind of influence, or they sense that they think they can have a very little influence. And only 28% are in a position and thinking that they can make an influence. So this is the chart that is actually expressing what are the reasons behind this position of the citizens. As you can see, the 40% are declaring that they don't have time, which probably is right for a good part of the population due to the working obligations, the condition of the poverty. But this issue has been mentioned here. But also they are saying that nobody was asking them, and they are not believing in the process, and so on. So as I said, citizens who believe in the effectiveness of the cooperative mechanisms are more content with their local community. So we started with this assumption. So we created this structure, actually a sort of a methodology behind the intervention and the project in Skopje, development of the project Urban Cooks in Skopje, which is actually divided into 5 phases. The first one was a research or a communication with the existing stakeholders and the existing urban initiatives in Skopje. And you can see that we have communicated with the citizens, but also with experts and activists. We also made a very good communication with the municipality, so the local administration and decision maker. Then we have developed a second phase, which was intended to act as an assistance, meaning that we put them, all the stakeholders or the main stakeholders, into a position to negotiate and into position to discuss certain issues. The idea was to facilitate this process and actually to enable to make them to enable them to learn the process of negotiation. The phases that we are here is actually the production, and something that I will present now is the catalog of the citizens' initiatives, because we thought it would be important to map the existing initiatives that are ongoing at the moment, and in a very spatial way, and that it could be used for better communicating and for further development of the project, with the final goal to support several of those initiatives to be executed on site and then to evaluate as the final phase, to make a comparative analysis of the process of development of the citizens' initiatives in the three cities. So this is the map of city of Skopje. You can recognize the river, and with yellow is the center of the city. And these are the citizens' initiatives that we have communicated and got the information from them. And you can see the borders of the municipalities, because the city of Skopje is constituted of 10 municipalities. So you can see that the distribution has been context sensitive, and within some municipalities there are more initiatives which are more centrally positioned municipalities. So we have developed this catalog, and I will present only several of these initiatives. The first one is called Skopje Grows. Skopje Grows is an initiative for reanimation of the public spaces, for especially with the objective to enhance children's playground and green spaces in a certain residential area in Skopje. But it also started as a web platform that you can visit. It's called Skopje Raste, Skopje Grows, which enables citizens through internet to access and to visually comprehend the transformation that occur in their communities. So you can access this platform, and you can go to your community, to your local neighborhood. You can see what was the status and the built environment 20 years ago, how it is now, and what are the urban planning to develop there. So, and in the same time having the information about the status and the level of the green areas, the parking structure, and so on. So the idea is to haste some of the processes that Gabor mentioned yesterday about making these private gardens into public gardens without a specific character or program, with an idea to utilize what is already there, because there has been we have a lot of green areas, especially in some of the residential neighborhoods, and they are not used completely. And as you can see, there is even some not how to say expected activities going on there with the garbage. So the idea is to involve the local community and to make them, to enable them to support them to develop, whether it's urban gardening or it's a children's playground or any other way of community use that will be defined by the locals. Second one is called Treš Kooperativa, and and it is envisioned as a multifunctional cooperative public space, fully designed and built of discarded objects and materials. You can see how it is done. It is planned in one of the neighborhoods. And the key element of this initiative is actually to develop this public kitchen, which has been done, as I said, with the reused materials, but also can utilize different kind of activities within the community. So at a certain point, it could become a green market place for the green market, or it could become the communal kitchen or a playground for kids, or even for some events and some meetings of the community, and some music events as well. The third one is called Liquid History, and is an initiative to add a new and invisible and liquid layer of the history of the local community and the local neighborhood, in order to make to enhance the urban identity. So it is one street in the residential area, central residential area in Skopje, with an idea to make a research about the people who used to live there, with the celebrities, the known people from the literature, from the music, from the architecture, and to even put some information of different kind, even the information about the types of green of trees, and so anything that could actually add a new layer of information that could enhance this local identity. One very important initiative, which is dedicated, called Tactile Pathway, is an initiative to adapt the streets and sidewalks in the center of the city with urban elements for assistance of visually impaired citizens. Unfortunately, the government is not doing enough, and there has been an initiative by this cooperative of the people with the handicap, and the idea is to support them with the provision of some design documents, but also to support them and to enable them to find some money in order to construct those pathways. And urban acupuncture, very briefly, is an initiative that has been already executed, and it's a regional initiative in several cities around the region, but it's an intervention on specific points where the community is meeting, and this is the entrance to an elementary school. So with this kind of artistic intervention, they have pointed out the importance or the place of focus for the local community, but also providing this safety support for the local for the users. The bicycle parking, very elementary, very cheap, that could be produced, and the idea was to actually involve the local production, the local craftsmen in a very basic design, as you can see, and that actually could be positioned in a very different posts and in very different points within the city, enhancing the use of and supporting the use of bicycles. And the last one, which I have to mention, is the one that is anonymous. So there are no known initiators, and the idea is those are called share books or share food, and it is positioned in the several points in the city. And I think that those are working well, especially share books, because the people are really recognizing the possibility. So urban cooks are, I can say, spicing up the civic societies in our cities, and not as much as conclusions, but rather as the guidelines for the further development, because the project is yet to be taken to its conclusion, is that interaction is integration, as far as we learn within our interaction with all these initiatives. And participation, citizens' participation has to be acknowledged as a spatial and social practice. So it is not something that we could make it work, but we have to acknowledge its appearances within the space of the city. And most important for us, and something that we are sharing with all whether it's experts or local administration or citizens, that participation actually makes community meaningful. So thank you very much for your attention. This is the website of the project, so you can find even the catalog is there and all the information that you might need.